Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 213 of Fans of Power. I'm Nathan Kennedy, joined by Joe Amato and Tyler Baker, and our special guest, David Clark. It's been a long time since we've had four people on this show.
Yeah.
And Joe, I just want to say this before we really get going. Joe was really sad that I did the intro of this episode. You could hear it in his voice.
No,
He sounded so defeated. David's like, please, Tyler, give Joe shit on this episode. We're going to get plenty of that. And we got a lot. We got, it's just one central topic that we have for the episode today, but we finally got something. Something. It's like, here are people that are actually involved. Here's a cast list for something. I'm like, wow, all right.
Yeah, a first time you could say we could kind of, whether it's excited or happy or just like, oh God, but either way, it's something we can discuss and it's with some merit and it's not just a hypothetical. This could be coming out this summer or next summer and this guy might be the character that's going to be in a movie. Yeah, none of that stuff. This is actually happening for real. And I'll quickly ramble just to say hello to the people in the chat room, but as you know, we'll discuss all your questions that you have later in the show and then we'll get into this. But we have Zentron, Michael Purvis, JSP, Adam Gabbert, Thomas Robinson, Jason Johnston, David S., Michael Purvis, the Dingalorian, Gary Buchanan, Darth Baca, Papa Hud 69, Grimbot, Jaime Mares, I hope I said your name right, JD Gibson, Hemo Tagi, Sean Scavarna. Jesus Christ, so many fuckers here. Let me see, and I think you got it. Yeah, there you go. It's like David Clark's like, I brought
another ego on here. We only got room for one ego.
I know, it's already hard enough to breathe. Like when I knew Tyler's coming back on, I'm like, all right, let me fetch my oxygen tank.
Because I can share your link to all these different Facebook pages.
There you go. Yeah, because you got a hell of a response from that picture. Will be popping up here in a second when we discuss. Right. And Tyler, just to let you know, Kevin Sharpe just popped up. And
holy shit!
Kevin Sharpe only shows up in the chat when Tyler's on the show.
Kevin, I demand an update on that He-Man illustration I've purchased from you, man. I need another update on it. So he's here. I'm calling him out publicly here. So he can't say something came up or something like that. I'm demanding an update.
And I'll let you know if he does give an update. And also, Andrew, he's in Sportimus had popped up. So thank you all for joining us, and Rick Poe. But now I'm going to pass it to you, Nathan, if however you want to start this, because we are going to be discussing the voice cast for Masters of the Universe Revelation cartoon, which
it is.
It's a hell of a list. You know, it's not like you just got a little taste. You got a lot. And, I mean, if anything, this is definitely going to put Masters of the Universe in a spotlight, and hopefully in a good, positive way, because when you hear these names, it's only something that can be good. It's nothing really negative. And now people are like, wait, Mark Hamill is going to be part of this new cartoon? It could just bring in so many new people. But go ahead, Nathan. I'll get it to you, and we can get started.
I think all of us collectively, there are a few on there, and a lot of people in the chat room, when we saw it, we're all collectively just scratching our heads, just being like, I'm not sure about that one. But before we jump into that, we need to let our guest actually speak, and he can tell us his involvement in the Masters community, what he does. Because Joe and David, I apologize, but when Joe's like, oh yeah, and this, I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't really know much about him. So go ahead, David, and tell us all about yourself and your involvement with this property.
Fine, it's so awesome to meet you, Nathan, and Tyler, and Joe. Of course, you know, we've chatted many times. So, hi, I'm David Clark, known as Adult Collector of adultcollector.org. I own adultcollector.org, which is a network of pages and groups on Facebook that celebrates everything we love about Masters of the Universe. So I own quite a few of the pages that you may recognize. I own the page for the Revelation cartoon, the 2021 movie, the other new Netflix cartoon, pretty much everything, all the new stuff, Mythic Legions, a few other things. And do you guys remember the character polls on He-Man.org?
Yes.
All right, I put all those images and characters together, and Val got the final word on that. So I was the guy building all of those polls. I wasn't the technical guy at the end, but I built all the images and gathered all the characters and fan feedback, that sort of thing.
Those were fun. I enjoyed it until I saw a character. Like, God, that character sucks balls. Why is he on this list?
And then the character compendium from Dark Horse Comics. I was a contributing writer and proofreader for that book, thanks to Val.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Excellent work.
Thank you. Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
I bet it was. I'd give anything to be able to work on something like a legit project of something with He-Man's name attached to it. I couldn't even begin to think what it would be like to, whether you're researching or just, I don't know, just being a part of it. Like, that's just got to be a treat that I can't even fathom what that experience is like.
It was great because not only did I get paid to rewatch all the 2000X DVDs, but also I got to work alongside Penny and Val and Yuka and Renee and other contributors and proofreaders. So a lot of people from the fan community. It was great that the book was built from the ground up by the fans. I love it.
I don't know why Val and Penny won't pay me for anything He-Man related. I'm probably just talking about that now.
Well, I heard that what you guys were talking about getting you guys on the show at Paracon. Like, Val wanted to get you guys to the show.
Val's already bought all the tickets, paid for the hotel, paid for the flights, all that stuff. At least that's what I heard anyway through the thing. I kid about that. Plus, we would have to drag Joe from parts unknown. And find a way to get him there. There's no way. Maybe we could get him a stale bag of baked Lays or something that might get him out of the house.
Can't blame.
We have to carry around a dummy like Weekend at Bernie's and just dress him up as Joe.
Put a mask
honestly,
on
it wouldn't be hard. You could just get a dummy with the mask and the hood. He just flops around all over the place and ask it, "Hey Joe, will you cut me a deal on the custom?" And we turn his head to this way here and. And oh my God, Joe! I'll give you the full $300 for the custom. He still turns his head.
One other thing I should mention while I'm on your guys' show is I'm also part of the super amazing Council of the First Ones podcast, which records every other Sunday.
Hey,
I didn't know there was one regular.
We already had this discussion with Jeremy DeWitt. You can't be on our show shilling all of your other shit. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
A little bit.
Yeah, we're
just
trying.
Remember,
this podcast
Dave,
has always been like a monopoly on the He-Man fan community here. So we're just trying to get it. Everyone was. You know what? I'll just shut up here. Let it. He can plug his thing there.
It's live.
One other thing,
you can't edit it out.
Oh, I don't intend to. I'm not ashamed of the shit that I say. If I am, I apologize for it. So. Yeah, let's Sid Vicious. It's live, pal.
Yeah.
Yep, that's right. And you got to update, remember, David, that Masters of the Universe movie page, the 2021, you're going to have to do it to 2022, 2023. So remember, just keep adding the fucking different number every year.
Well, as soon as I'm going to update it as soon as we get some final word on whether or not it goes to Netflix. I know your show and my show, we were all excited about the news that it was going to Netflix, but when I look deeper into it, it looks like the news source is just one website. So I'm going to say that it's at this point, it's kind of still like a rumor.
Yeah. Don't just take it.
I agree with that too. It just sounds like it's just a repetitive thought. I mean, it's something we haven't heard or been told before. So when people are sharing the hell out, I'm like, you guys really have a short memory, don't you? But you know what? It's. I guess that's probably the case with everybody, right, Joe? I mean, if everyone's getting so excited over the least bit of pissant news, I guess it's just so quick to forget how many times we were told it's coming.
It's a lot that we have. But at least with this news that we're going to do, this isn't just a rumor. This is confirmed. So I'll hit it to you, Nathan, so when you can pop this up and we can all give our opinions on this voice cast, because there's some I know, but I'm going to admit I don't know a lot of people on this, so I'm going to be kind of clueless.
Oh, how about that? He said clueless. What a coincidence.
God, Alicia Silverstone. Yeah. I guess
he got it. Joe got that reference. How about that?
We can bump it up to people that Joe knows that's involved in this show to 5 people. on this list instead of 4.
Yeah, I'll admit, when it comes up, because that's the thing, when you start going one by one when we talk, of course I'll mention, hey, I know this person, and some I might know by voice, because Tyler said, Joe, you might know a lot of these people by voice, but not by their real name.
Look, there's one right off the top of my head I know Joe is aware of, unless for some reason Joe tells me he's never seen this movie or even watched the particular show he was on. So,
well, I can't wait till we get to that one, because I want Tyler to kind of, be sure to call me out on whatever ones he's thinking, but... However you want to start, Nathan, you're going to have to start at the top, obviously.
Well, Tyler, do you have this picture at all? I can go ahead and message that to you real quick if you want, so you can
I've got like a well, if you want to, go ahead, because I was using like this kind of written list.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and get that sent to you. But the first one at the top, obviously, we have Mark Hamill as Skeletor, and I think that's fantastic. I love Mark Hamill. Mark Hamill is probably my favorite overall version of the Joker. All things considered, because there's just I don't know, that's gonna stand the test of time. Not like I mean, Jack Nicholson's does and everything. And now I'm talking out of my ass, but what I'm saying is I think it's a great fit for him to be Skeletor. I think that's all universally agreed upon, that everyone's excited about his interpretation of that character.
I should mention that this image that we're looking at, right, it's at the top of adultcollector.org right now. It's the post that you guys posted. I shared it, so anybody can go there to look at the same image that we're looking at.
Yeah, and they should be able to see it since they're in the chat room, and right now through YouTube we have that plastered, so they are definitely looking at it right now. But now, what are your thoughts, David? Because you give your thoughts, and then Tyler and I will. But obviously, when you heard Mark Hamill as Skeletor, what were you thinking?
That was a given. But then, so was like Kevin Conroy as like He-Man, I thought, or Man-at-Arms, but wow, like we're getting a few surprises in here, which I don't think is necessarily a bad thing. But yeah, Mark Hamill as Skeletor, perfect. Couldn't have picked a better person for the role. Yeah.
Okay. Tyler.
I mean, when Nathan sent me the list, I was just kind of like scratching my head like initially, because it was such a, because I just genuinely didn't know how to react to it. I mean, there was one that I initially that did not hesitate. I'm like, oh my God, that'd be perfect to play in a live action film, and we'll get to that one here in a moment. But because of all the Mark Hamill stuff that I've heard outside of the Joker, like I really hadn't heard too much that he had done, but his Joker it's a masterpiece. So, but it was just like my initial thought is, I just didn't know what to think, and not to say that, because when I saw Kevin Conroy as Merman, I'm like, it's Batman, but it just, I don't know. I guess I was thinking like initially when I saw them, like I should instantly, like, okay, I can hear their voice or an interpretation of their voice as this character. And there's a couple of variations in his tone when he plays the Joker, when he gets real serious. He's being like really like, what's the word? Well, just when he's taking something, like relishing something, or
maybe sadistic, possibly.
Very sadistic. Like I think of the episode in Justice for All in the Justice League cartoon when he tells Batman, "But I can still have my fun," and flips out this razor blade. That kind of tone. Because I initially, I just hoping to God Skeletor is portrayed seriously. Like, I think we got a pretty solid cast for the most part. What worried me initially is like a lot of people that were brought on are all friends of Kevin Smith, or Kevin Smith has connections to. I'm like, oh my God, like how much say does Kevin have over this cartoon? But the more I kept thinking about it, like, you know what? I mean, I would trust Mark Hamill with my life in terms of like the excitement I have about the portrayal of the Joker. So I'm like, I keep hearing my voice echoing. That's distracting.
I'm hearing the echo.
Yeah, I think it might be David's mic. It might be like close to the speaker or something. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, anyway, make a long story short, I'm eager to hear what Mark Hamill does as Skeletor. Like, I'm like, it was such a jolt to see all these names connected together, and once I let it set in, I'm like, okay, yeah, hell yeah. Like I'll just wait and see what happens with Mark. I mean, I trust the guy, absolutely, and I just hope it's, done seriously, and he's been instructed to play Skeletor as serious as a heart attack and as malicious as the Joker really can be. So those are my thoughts on that.
Yeah, and no, you're right, and that's the thing. I mean, even before, I guess getting more into it, I mean, we are getting hit with a giant, voice cast here, and a lot of popular names. But you're right. I mean, it doesn't mean anything unless hopefully the cartoon is well written, well animated, drawn, everything. Hopefully the stories are great, which you hope so, because this is going to hopefully again bring a lot of positivity and put Masters of the Universe back into the spotlight. And you're right. Right when you hear Mark Hamill, it's like last week when we were rambling, when it was just rumors of, hey, Kevin Smith was talking with Mark Hamill and Kevin Conroy. Who could it be? And it was a no-brainer to think, okay, if this is true, Mark Hamill's going to have to be Skeletor, and sure enough, he is. But, Kevin Conroy, I was thinking, well, is he going to try He-Man? Would he try Man-at-Arms? But I guess then now we see the choice where they put him in, which is, I don't know, Merman. Now, here, I'll be honest. That was a weird choice for me, but, I mean, maybe he's going to pull something off. But I was convinced it would be Man-at-Arms, maybe He-Man, but I really thought Man-at-Arms. But I don't know much of Kevin Conroy. This is what I was telling Tyler. It's like, okay, I know obviously Batman, but I was like, did he do a lot of other things? And if he did, I don't know. I'll sound like a moron on the show because I don't know what else he's done.
Well, it goes back to what Tyler was saying. When I saw Kevin Conroy, we think we were all thinking, either He-Man or Man-at-Arms, but to see him as Merman, because just when you meet him, when he's talking to you, he sounds like Batman. Like, that's just his voice. So I'm kind of curious if he's gonna kind of go beyond that, dig something deeper. If they're gonna throw like a little effect on it to change it up to make it sound different. I don't really know what the plan would be with that character.
I think he's gonna just ace it. I think he's really gonna put something special on it. And I'm sorry guys about the feedback that you were hearing. I think I have that fixed now.
Oh, no problem, bud.
That sounds good.
No, I mean, like I said, the more I thought about it, like, I mean, these are, I mean, it's like not trusting Michael Jordan to shoot the game winner with Mark Hamill and Kevin Conroy. It was such a curveball to be thrown. Like, I saw that post too, John, and I didn't pay any attention to it because I'm like, it's Kevin Smith. Like, I don't give a shit. Do not give a shit. But, once it sinks in, you're like, I had no idea because you just hear Batman or variations of Bruce Wayne. Because outside of his portrayal of Batman, I've never heard him do anything else. I'm sure that he has, but to me, it's like if he's doing Batman, I don't care. I'll watch it. Same thing with Mark Hamill's The Joker. I don't care. I'll watch it. I know he's done like the Trickster on the Justice League cartoon, which is pretty much just him playing. He's doing his Mark Hamill voice and things like that. I know he's done some other stuff as well. I'm not too familiar with, but I'll just kind of wait and see with those two, because I'm like, it almost sounds insulting to even question their talent because of the caliber of voice actors that they are. I'm like, I kind of felt like I shouldn't even be second guessing it. It's initially like, what? Yeah. But their pedigree is too untouchable to really be worried about that kind of voice casting.
And because it's Kevin Conroy, I feel like they're going to try to give more lines to Merman. I feel like they're going to try to play him up a bit more than they normally do.
Yeah, because it almost feels like you don't want to cast Kevin Conroy to play Merman who has like a minimal role. Like he just kind of shows up every so often. Hey, I found, this in the Sea of Rakash. Okay, and he jumps back in the water and you don't see him again for the rest of the episode. So, right. Yeah, I would say, he as well he should. He's a pivotal evil warrior. He should not be just a throwaway random character. So yeah, I'd say they'll probably flesh it out a little bit more. Or maybe maybe Kevin Conroy is like, I'm fine playing this role. I like this role, and that's
You mean they'll scale it out a bit more?
He's got a million of them here tonight, people.
And that's the thing. Even with there's the very well knowns, and then there's ones that, like I said, for me, somebody maybe being casual to a lot of maybe certain TV shows, I don't know, but I know hopefully others will know. I mean, like I said, you're getting an all-star cast that at least, unlike another cartoon that I don't give two shits about, you don't know, who the fuck's that? Who the fuck's that? But one of them, like, I know him from Blackish, but I don't know you others.
One episode.
Oh, sorry,
episode without mentioning
you're right,
that show. Come on.
I didn't say it. Now, Liam Cunningham, I'll be honest. He's Man-at-Arms. I don't know the dude, so you guys are gonna have to help me out. I was like, who's Liam
he
Cunningham?
loves to see Jon Snow, Lord of the North.
He's the perfect choice.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, Davos from Game of Thrones, and also we have Lena Headey here that's going to be Evil Lynn.
Oh my God! When like she should be cast as a live action Evil Lynn. Like, son of a bitch! Of everybody that was cast here, when I saw that list on Friday, I'm like, holy shit, man! God, now that's perfect. If Kevin Smith is responsible for that one, then yes, I will shake his hand gladly and say, all right, buddy, I gave you credit for that one, because that is the most perfect casting out of this entire, like, yeah. I don't have to wonder about that. I mean, I dare say, like, this woman could give Linda Gary a good run in terms of, like, this woman is the definitive bitch. God, is she good at playing evil. So I'm like, I'm not, it's just perfect. And she can play a perfect Evil Lynn on screen. It's, my God.
Here's the Tom Hanks thing for me, real quick. Who's Lena Headey? What's she from? I don't know.
She's from Game of Thrones.
Play Cersei.
She was.
So both of those are okay. Never seen
she was in Dread.
Evil Queen.
She was in 300.
300.
Yeah. But I guess the question I want to go ahead and toss to you. Well, I guess not Joe, because he doesn't know who they are. But do you think they'll use their natural accents for these characters, or do you think they'll make them do an American accent for them? Do you have a preference?
I feel like.
Do you lean either way? Would you prefer them to actually try an accent, or are you fine with them just using the voices that we're used to hearing?
I say Lena should just use whatever voice. Like, I mean, I think her actual voice or variations that we've heard, I mean, I wouldn't question that at all. She's good at playing evil, and I just feel like she can kind of tinker around with it. I mean, it'd be cool if some of these characters do have accents, because this world's not really limited to just an American accent, from the Midwest.
That's what I was thinking too, because if they were to just use their accents, that would sort of open it up to make you seem like this world is vast. And there are just different people from different places and things like that.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
I can't believe you don't know who they are.
What's
Joe.
the next? Oh, I've never seen Game of Thrones.
She was on Sesame Street. I mean, you didn't see her on Sesame Street either, Joe?
Son of a bitch, I didn't know. And now I guess we have Chris Wood as Prince Adam and He-Man. It's cool that I guess he's doing, both voices, in tradition of how it's always been usually. But who is Chris Wood? I'm sorry, but I don't know.
Honestly, he is one of the people on this list that I'm not very familiar with. I went and checked out an interview that he did and listened to his voice, and I'm like, I can see that being all right and turning out okay.
Which is a good combination of, like you. No, I mean, you're right. I mean, yes, we know there's established people, whether they've done voices for our cartoons or not. But then when you have somebody you're not, maybe not too familiar with, but still doesn't mean it's a bad thing. Sometimes you do like an unknown or somebody different. Like, okay, what are they going to bring to it? Especially when you have expectations of, I'd like this person to do it. And if it's not that person, I'm pissed off. It's not always going to be exactly what you want. Like, okay, what's great here, and I'll just give a quick rant, but Alan Oppenheimer as Mossman. Now, last week, just like how we were doing the hypotheticals, some people were thinking, well, hey, there should be a petition to have him doing Skeletor. It was like, well, a couple things. One, did he even say he wanted to do Skeletor? That's the first thing. And then two, in 2 months, he's going to be 90. We don't know people's private lives. You don't know. I mean, does he have the energy? Like, Deucin mentioned before, like, he goes to conventions, which it's true, and he'll do some little bit of voicing or signing autographs. but
people, bullshit, man.
Except Tyler. Yeah, except Tyler's fucking picture. It's like, you ain't getting shit. But what you have, though, is sometimes there's people that actually can walk around, whether you're old or not, in real full energy. But if they start talking, they could get winded. Or people who, when they walk, get tired, but then could talk all day. We don't know his health. We don't know the circumstances. But either way, he's going to be in the cartoon, which is great. He's going to be as Mossman. So maybe it's just a character that won't have a lot of screen time. Maybe it's like, okay, at least you remember in the name. It's good to have him part of the Masters of the Universe community in cartoon again. But like I said, that's why I don't, throw any ill will. It's like, you don't know if he wanted to do it. It's great having him be there, but I like a new, fresh voice as Skeletor in this cartoon. It's just my opinion. People might not agree with it, but it's good to have him here. But yeah, Mossman was a different choice. I was like, that's different. I didn't know what you guys were thinking when you heard it, but it's different.
Well, when I met Alan Oppenheimer at PowerCon the first time I attended the event, he told me that it was too hard on his throat to do Skeletor, and he gave me a little bit of Cringer, which was amazing. But I think it comes down to a case where it's amazing, like you said, it's amazing that he's given a role that he we're able to enjoy his talent, and it's actually, I think it's kind of fun that he's giving himself this challenge to do someone new, because he was doing Skeletor, Cringer, Man-at-Arms. He was a one-man show.
Sure. Tyler.
I mean, if you hear his voice and everything else he's done outside of He-Man, like Bionic 6, Rambo, I mean, if you just Brave Star, a lot of the characters he's done, he's pretty much just doing his voice. Like Bionic 1, Bionic 6, that's just Alan talking. Same thing in as Troutman and Rambo, he's just talking. Because initially I'm like, even though Mossman has been given only 2 voices in the cartoon, one was good, one sucked. So I guess I just kind of initially thought, like, is he just going to just use his actual voice and just talk? But, and that may be. And you know what? It may not sound bad at all. Like, it's good to see an original coming back into the show. So I do think it's great to honor that. It just made me initially wonder, is it just going to sound like Alan Oppenheimer talking and not have much of a variation? Because I do feel like Mossman is a character that does have to have a very distinct voice, because the visual, what kind of character he is, he can't just be like Nathan doing the voice or something like that. Right. He's got to have a very distinct characteristic in his voice, I think. So, but again, like Mark Hamill and Kevin Conroy, like, I'll see what happens. So.
He can't just sound like Man-at-Arms.
Exactly. He needs to have it just can't be. I would prefer it not to be Alan talking, because when he talks, it's Man-at-Arms, it's Bionic 1, it's, you guys know the list. If you kept up with his filmography, you know the characters he's done. And He-Man, I think by far is like his most versatile show that he's done in terms of like the variations of voices that he's done. So that's my thoughts on him.
All right, then we came to somebody that I remember in a couple TV shows, don't know much about the movie, but he's one of the few people, believe it or not, on this list that's doing some dual voices. And you're going to have, I think it's Diedrich Bader. I don't know if I said his name right, as King Grandor and Trapjaw. What's his fucking name? I don't know. Who is
it? Joe, this is the one you should know.
Why? I remember on the Fresh Prince, Fresh Prince, that's one thing I don't remember, but what was he
Fresh
on?
Piss?
Wasn't he on Whose Line Is It Anyway?
He was on that, Drew Carey, and I'm. If Joe hasn't seen this, then I'm like,
oh boy, here we go.
Office Space.
What is it? Oh, Office Space.
Yeah. I say, if they manage to work in the line, he's talking about Prince Adams. Like, take a look at my son. He's broke. Don't do shit.
Oh, that was the guy that was sitting around the house all day looking at boobs.
Yeah, he's Lawrence.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess I do know him. So he's doing some dual voices. I mean, I guess I really don't have much to say on that part. It's just like, I hope he delivers a great job. I don't know what you guys.
I mean, he does have a decent amount of voice acting experience. He played Batman in Batman Brave and the Bold, if I'm not mistaken, and he's done some other stuff. So I think for him as King Randor and Trapjaw, I can kind of already hear the voice that he would sort of use for both of them, and I think it'll be fine.
I just want to mention really briefly, just to give you context of how exciting this cast announcement is. On the Masters of the Universe Revelation Facebook page, this poster that I made and shared on that page, it has been seen by nearly 500,000 people.
Wow.
It has received very close to 1,000 likes, and it has been shared 2,800 times.
Yeah, but
awesome.
But does that beat the time that Joe shared a picture of He-Man with a burrito? I don't think so.
Right.
Like, and the logic behind why that brought in the masses,
Tyler's like, what the hell? I put He-Man next to an El Monterey burrito, and it went nuts. He was like, oh, Jesus Christ, Joe. You could just post anything up there.
And people who like that, you're just morons. And I don't care if you're offended by it. If you like that kind of horseshit, you're an idiot. And please instruct your bitchy complaints to Joe Amato on Facebook Messenger.
There you go. No, but that is great, David. I mean, that just shows the positivity. Because you would think like big announcements like, the possible movie, which, ain't happening. But when that would happen, you think, oh, that's going to be shared everywhere. But when you got something concrete like this, and again, you're getting He-Man fans, you're getting Batman fans, you're getting people from all sorts of different types of pop culture, TVs, movies, whatever. Yeah. And it's only good. I mean, that's good publicity and hopefully could lead to something great. Like I said, that's why, crossing fingers, this will be a well-written, animated, and drawn-out cartoon, because you got the talent right here that's going to definitely help keep promoting everywhere you can think possible. So that's a great post you had that went that nuts. And then we lead into, I was going to say, what's exciting for me here is, okay, we have Phil LaMarr as Hero, and I remember
Hero is in the mythology here.
And I was giddy. At first, I was like, okay, I know Phil LaMarr. I remember him from Mad TV. But then I was like, Hero? Wait a second, Hero? It's like, please let this be our Hero from back in the day. None of this new stuff, new crap, and hopefully they do him right. But finally, just like Tyler said, he's going to be in the cartoon, because everybody else we've seen before in cartoon form, but not Hero. I kind of lost my shit there. I was excited. So, yeah, go ahead.
I'm just excited it's Samurai Jack, right? Same voice.
I never watched it.
John Stewart. Wait, did you watch Justice League at all, Joe?
No.
Well, he was Green Lantern.
What exactly is it you did do? Back in the the 2000s. Did you do anything?
He was making out with various women in behind.
After he stole their items to draw them back to his place.
After he would take their stuff and throw them in some gas station toilet, he'd be like, "Hey, meet me by the tree, this apple tree next to the railroad tracks, and we'll make out."
Why do you think he's wearing a mask?
That's it. Yeah. Hey, good. You might be onto something. Yeah, all of the shame, all the people that would finally catch up.
We probably had passed Joe's face in so many post offices, wanted, had no idea it was him. It's probably not even really Joe Amato. It's it's probably name. Chuck Steak or something like that. Wanted in 11 states for stealing Chuck textbooks Steak. And God knows what he's done to women.
A lot of definitely a lot of crazy. But this is great. I mean, I was really excited because when we had the Mike Young Productions cartoon come out, and here came King Grayskull, a different character, and I was always thinking, God, I wanted Hero. That's who I wanted to be in that. And you get somebody new that. There's some fans of, but I don't see many people flipping over King Grayskull. So thank God on them that they didn't put King Grayskull in here. And let's hope he doesn't show up in future fucking seasons. But you guys can give your thoughts, because I know, Tyler, you were probably super excited and stoked as well, because we're two superhero fans.
Yeah, it was good. I was kind of shocked because, this roster does include characters that are, some are quite obscure. So you're like, okay, these people have done their research and not just followed the trend of I grew up on the 2000X cartoon, so I'm going to pull that bullshit and put it in this one here. So I'm very, very grateful that Hero is in this. Whoever's responsible for that decision, if it's Kevin Smith or if it's somebody else, I give you full credit for giving the finger to that abomination of a concept and putting the source of Grayskull and He-Man's power into this new series, which you see this cast of characters too. It does let you know that this can't be a show that centers around Teela like we all thought it was going to be when they released that little synopsis. This is a vast selection of characters, and Hero is an important part of the mythology. So I'm like, okay, we're probably going to get to see some Preternius stuff, maybe some dinosaurs, maybe some
cool.
Giants. It just makes you wonder.
When Tyler's saying that, I just hear this tapping all of a sudden. Are you all right over there, Tyler? I'm not gonna start see the table shake. Make sure your hands are.
No. It's just some. Could we see this? Could we see that? And hopefully it won't be really bad Kevin Smith jokes inserted in or some shit like that and ruin the whole thing or something like that. But high hopes.
There was I want to bring up at that point. I want to bring up that very recently there was a Kevin Smith interview that was found. I shared some news that came out of it, and I was surprised that it was recorded right after PowerCon, and he gave us lots of great details about what would be going into this, indications of what the design would be like, the story, the Oh, and he mentioned that, and I'm sorry, I forget his name, at Mattel. He said that this guy is like one of the guys running, who's one of the guys who's overseeing this project, saying that he's basically the guy who is making sure that there's nothing that's not He-Man that gets in, nothing like that gets into this show. Everything has to be, so none of, like you said, none of these Kevin Smith antics, I don't think, it's not going to go down that road. There are, I'm not going to say handlers, but there are people in place, who will make sure that the story, the characters, the designs, everything's going to be top notch. It's all going to be very much tailored to what we're hoping to get.
And that's the way.
Let's hope
that's
so.
the way that I was hoping it would be, because a lot of people, when they found out Kevin Smith was attached to it, automatically they're like, "All right, it's just going to be a ton of dick and fart jokes." I think
that was me.
Yeah, well, I think as much as people want to think that way, at the end of the day, he does know the fan base that's attached to it and how passionate fans can be. I don't think he would want his name attached to something that's just going to make a mockery of the property. I think he wants to actually...
I don't know. Ryan Johnson, who worked on Star Wars, didn't seem to really give two shits.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, these people can say they're aware of the fan bases, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they want to respect why these fans have kept these properties alive for so long. They always have to say the right things, that they respect the fans, they know about the fan base. I don't give credit to things like that because people have come along and said these remarks because it's looks good in the public eye. You want people to see positive things, and then when it comes out, it's like, well, you can't knock me. I love the fans.
I think that is one way to look at it, but also Kevin Smith at the same time has written a lot of comic books. And been ingrained. So I think he knows when to kind of pull that throttle and when to sort of back away and not just dive head first in it.
Well, and that's something too, like I've often wondered, I know he's a big front runner for this show. And I've pretty much just kind of boxed myself in and kind of kept myself kind of far removed from a lot of thinking about it in general and just kind of embrace or just see whatever we get with the trailer or pictures we get. Shit, I lost my train of thought.
Where was I?
Keep moving. Where the hell was I? Yeah, where the hell was I? Keep moving. David and Joe, Nathan, just keep going.
I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead, Joe.
Well, I was going to say, I didn't know if we just moved to the next one, but we do have at least, obviously, if you don't know her, then
I was about to say,
you'd be
Joe,
worse than me. But Sarah Michelle,
if you don't know her, then you really do live under that rock.
Right. Well, this is one rock I ain't under, but yeah, this girl right here, good Lord, Sarah Michelle Gellar. We got Buffy, we got her playing Teela, and I think she'll be the perfect fit for that role. I'll be curious to see what. I don't think she's really gonna do voices. I just think her voice is gonna be Teela, like you guys were saying earlier. Who might do a voice and who's just using the regular. It'll probably just be regular. But I was like, again, another person that's at least some kind of star power, could bring in Buffy fans to He-Man that maybe never seen it. But either way, somebody So I was excited to see her cast as Teela. So at least a known name, and not just who the hell is this.
Yeah, Joe, because Lena Headey and Liam Cunningham are definitely who the hell are these kinds of people.
I'm a shit. I don't know this stuff. See, it's like you said, some of these things.
One of the biggest shows that's ever been on television. Period. And Joe's like, oh my God, who is this? A guy named Liam and some Heady girl. I don't know if I could buy into that.
I couldn't afford to buy whatever Game of Thrones was on, so I just didn't.
You could have watched it on YouTube. Just clips of it or something.
I guess
go to your local flea market and buy a used bootleg copy or something that.
We'll just have to set up a Fans of Power Patreon, and all the money just goes to Joe, so he can just sign up for.
There you go.
Or if any of you guys out there in the chat room want to go ahead and give your logins for Hulu, if you got HBO add-on or anything like that, just message it to Joe and let him know, and he'll just leech off of you for a little bit. But no, I think. I like this casting as Teela. If she can sort of bring, because Tyler's always talking about how Teela's a bitch. Maybe she's a bitch. She just brings out her character from I Know What You Did Last Summer. That would kind of top it off. But no, I think she'll do fine. She's also dabbled in voice work since she's sort of disappeared from live action stuff after Buffy was done. So
she did a good April O'Neil.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be fine.
Yeah, she's a good choice. She is a good choice, David. Yeah,
excellent choice. Yeah, no, I mean, I'm looking at the female castings, and I feel like we've got a good number of strong female, characters. They'll do a fantastic job of living up to what we hope to hear from Sorceress and Queen Marlene and Tila.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, I think one that's definitely a head scratcher, which it might ultimately turn out okay. I don't really know because I haven't really paid attention to any of his voice work. But Henry Rollins as Triclops, who would have thought?
What's he from?
Yeah, well,
I've seen a lot of excitement about that choice, and I'm not too familiar with Henry Rollins, but yeah, I've seen just tons of it.
He's
what's he from?
Well,
Nathan?
I mean, he started to do a little bit of stand up, but before he was a musician. I can't, and I'm sitting here like I don't know why I'm blanking. Oh, Black Flag, there we go. Yeah, it was one of those bands, but he was part of that, and then kind of over time, just sort of started getting hosting gigs for stuff, and then he dabbled a little bit in voice acting. I think he's done some stand up, like I said before, so he's kind of been all over the place. So I'm curious to see. I can kind of imagine, because I've heard him talk before, I can see him just going in a little bit of a lower register and hitting a good sweet spot. Tyler, you're not too familiar with Henry Rollins at all, are you?
I just know him from Heat, and he did a lot of the I Love the 80s VH1 specials where he's like one of the people that they interview about, oh, look at this piece of shit film. Oh, that was awesome when women dressed like that or whatever. So I only know him from that. And just as long as Triclops is portrayed very seriously as a very menacing evil warrior or bounty hunter, whatever way they want to go with it, that's all that matters. So I don't I mean, when I hear the guy talk, I don't think Triclops, of course, but he's just kind of one that he's a wait and see for me. I don't look at it and think gold.
I
just have to just as long as he's Triclops is not a scientist, with a really big underbite, gang look, make robots, and I'm like, no, you're a swordsman, you're a badass, you're not stuck in a lab. So I don't want to see that happy horseshit happen again.
Yeah, hopefully they don't doof anybody up. You're right, making weird, insane, silly, or goofy voices. That's something I hope they don't do, or how they portray it.
Although one of them says that I already feel like is doomed with that, and that was even when it was announced that Kevin Smith is doing this, I'm like, oh my God.
I know which one.
And as soon when it came out, I'm like, being right.
Exactly, because it's going to be what Tyler always has said. I hope this doesn't turn out to be some fart joke, so you know who it'll be when we get to it. But first, just seeing a picture of Cringer, well, obviously it's like a Stephen Root. That's obviously Cringer's going to have a voice, but a good thing, a point that Grimbot brought up in the chat room is we don't see Battlecat, though. So is he going to be doing Battlecat as well? Or when he turns into Battlecat, will Battlecat not talk? I mean, I'm just hoping he talks because I wanted Cringer and Battlecat to talk in the Mike Young Productions cartoon, which we didn't get. I hated that little sissy meow that Cringer would do. It was annoying. And then no voice. I couldn't stand. So at least he'll have a voice. But yeah, it is curious if he's going to be doing Battlecat as well, or if there's someone else, or no talking. I'm not sure.
That's a really good point.
Yeah. And no Stratos, at least, because Zen Brown brought up, I haven't seen Stratos yet. I'm sure he'll come later, but at least he's not on the list at the beginning, so that's good to see, because he's a worthless shit character. But, all right, then we, I had to do that. I had to do that for Tyler. But, yeah, so not really much to say on Cringer, but it's cool that Cringer has a voice. And then you have Susan Eisenberg as Sorceress, which we see that she obviously did Wonder Woman, but anything else beyond Wonder Woman? Because I'm not quite sure on
That's what I know her best from, and I think just based off of that, I'm down for this casting.
Yeah, because she played a great Wonder Woman, so I'm not questioning that. That's great casting, in my opinion.
And what about you, David? What did you think when you seen her cast as Sorceress?
Oh, just wonderful. Yeah, anybody from Justice League, Batman, Superman.
Pretty much, they pretty much set the gold standard in terms of current, voice casting. They don't put anybody in that show that doesn't fit the character they're playing. it's pretty much perfect.
She played a lot of Wonder Woman, and she also played some interesting video game roles in like Destiny. One of them is Skyrim. She played some different people in Command and Conquer 4, Star Wars Force Unleashed, Avatar: The Last Airbender, which goes back to Henry Rollins. Interesting. Jackie Chan Adventures. Interesting.
Yeah.
World of Warcraft.
Yeah. So it's like a lot of these guys, like her, Phil Lamar, have made the rounds to various video games, animated shows, any time. Like, and some of them's just like a very small role that they get maybe one line or something, and you just hear it. So it's nice that they were able to get all of these voice acting veterans that people know by name, because a lot of times too, some people are just there and no one really knows them or stands out, at least anymore. So it's nice to see a lot of these familiar faces brought into the fold, like Alicia Silverstone.
It's cool, and it's weird, because I always picture just hearing her with a young voice, but her doing Queen Marlena. I'm sure she could do. I mean, I'll be honest, haven't heard her in a while, so I don't know how much her voice has matured.
She doesn't change. Her voice still sounds the same. I just hope she's not going to try and chew up food and feed it to baby Adam like she does in real life.
So you're figuring she's somebody that's obviously going to have a voice that'll be slightly changed. Do you think she'll try to do a much more mature woman voice, or do you think they're just going to let her go, like, just do your normal? I can't picture her doing her normal voice. It just would seem awkward to me, because I just keep picturing Clueless anytime I'd hear her talk then. So I hope she does something different for the role of Queen Marlena.
I would imagine that she would. She's not just going to show up, you're going to see Queen Marlena there being like, as if, or anything like that. I think they're going to...
Yeah, do that.
They're probably gonna give her the proper direction. Be like, all right, this is what we want. And I don't know the process, but I would hope if some of these guys on this list are kind of around, maybe they're sort of like talking to each other and saying, oh, well, maybe we should kind of do this, or maybe we should do this. Like, I'm hoping Jason Mewes is gonna get a little bit of that. Let's just go ahead and jump into that.
Pass it to Tyler after that one, because I won't even touch it. It's good that Stinkor, like I said, is going to be in this cartoon, but
not this way.
Nah, here we go. Exactly. We know what's going to happen.
Well, like Tyler said, as soon as I heard Kevin Smith, I'm like, all right, who's Mewes going to be?
I knew Mewes was going to cast a Stinkor. They're not going to give him anybody else other than the character that stinks.
How's his daughter going to be involved, and is his wife going to do a voice? And let's just go ahead and knock these out, because Harley Quinn Smith, because someone in the chat was like, is that really her name? Yes, it is. That's Kevin Smith.
Yes, it is.
Kevin Smith's daughter, and Joe, that's why you were like, why is there this really obscure character here? So Kevin Smith can be like, give his daughter... Which there's nothing wrong with that. If I was a showrunner, I'd be like, all right, Joe, Joe and Tyler, I'll bring you guys in to do something. I get it.
Well, I'm like coming in for the title role. Like, you're not putting me in.
Well, you're not going to be on the show.
No, and it's like you said, it's interesting, because that was the thought, on that choice was, I was like, Alina? Like, again, don't get me wrong. It was like, you're bringing in the drug addict? It's like, what is she going to do? But, I mean, it's cool they're introducing her, but I'm thinking, is she going to have really a main role, or is she just going to have a couple episodes? It's different just seeing the name, because she might just be a one-off episode character, or they might try to make something.
Well, I mean, she is...
No, I imagine she'll probably be like the world-building character. Like, you see her conversing with Teela, talking to Teela, hanging out in the royal court. Like, I could see this character as being someone that, like, if you've seen episodes, they've been friends for so long, like, you will actually probably see more of that.
And maybe even Teela training her, because she wanted to be, she wanted to be in there. She wanted to get into the fight. She always felt like she wasn't strong or good enough. And of course, we're not going to be getting a drug episode. Trust me, that's not going to happen. But it'd be nice if maybe,
I don't know. Coming from Kevin Smith, you never know what. He's like, no, tell. You don't understand. Like, we're trying to say that smoking pot is bad in this episode. And my daughter's going to play the pot addict.
So no Emok. We won't hear that, hopefully, in this damn cartoon.
It's worth mentioning that in that interview I referenced, Kevin Smith, he said he's heard a lot of people ask him, well, are you going to do that thing in the end where they tell you what the lesson of the story is, the morals? And he said basically he doesn't think that there's going to be time to fit those into the episodes, but he thinks that maybe they'll be they'll they'll kind of not spoof them, but they'll do something with them in the commercials for the show.
Well, honestly, like I don't think these shows don't have to have morals because the '80s ones did. Like I think that's a part of that time period. Plus, this is a show that's not necessarily marketed towards kids. I think the other show that Netflix has done is probably going to be more kid oriented. But even that, I almost feel like, you know what? I don't think we have to have morals in episodes anymore. They can be woven into the story, but you don't have to have a segment where Man at Arms tells you, to look before you cross the road or something like that. I think we don't need that, and I wouldn't want them to even try and attempt something like that because
Yeah, think about it like with Mike Young Productions when that cartoon came out. We never seen anything on TV, and then when we got the DVD box set, you find out, they did have them, and they put them on the box set, but it was, just never on TV. And you're right, some people, it could be slightly considered corny. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'd like to see if kids were watching, hey, there could be some morals, but like you said, not needed as long as it's woven into the story properly and they can understand what they just watched and get the message. I mean, yeah, like you said, at the end of the show, that was just said to basically wrap up what we just watched. Like when we seen Lena on the drugs. And yes, we know what the moral is going to be. But the one thing that got me super excited, not only just because, Tony Todd, Candyman himself is being Scareglow. That's when I lost it. I was like, about pissed my pants. I was like, finally, Scareglow is going to be in a cartoon. And all I can do is just hear his voice. And I was like, he is, I think, a perfect choice for Scareglow. I hope they fucking put him in a lot. I want to see Scareglow a lot. You guys give your thoughts, but that got me giddy right there.
Yeah, I hate it, Joe.
It was like at the same time. In one ear, I hear "I hate it, Joe," and the other one, I was just like, "Oh, it'll be perfectly fine." This is another case that it's nice. It's nice to see another character that is not around a whole lot at all, actually being brought into the fold. It's nice to just, hey, we're not going to give you the same old shit that you're used to. Here's something, the dashes of things different to sort of spice it up.
No, it's just I got to give him credit because they're not going with the generic, Tila and Man at Arms against Beastman, Trapjaw, and Evil Land, like the same old shit, same characters. It's like, why would you ever want to limit yourself? I mean, it's like, why would you do that in Justice League or Avengers? Like, just bring in the same core 4 characters over and over and over again when you've got a library of characters to choose from. And He-Man has got it, so it's good to see, even though Jason Mewes will be playing him, and I can't imagine him being able to do anything other than just doing the gravelly Jason Mewes voice, playing Stinkor shit. But, it's good to see Scareglow and Stinkor brought into the fold. Scareglow, you ain't got to worry about Tony Todd playing him. That guy could do it in sleepwalking.
Yeah.
But it is awesome to just, and I'm curious, like, will Scareglow be portrayed as part of Skeletor's ranks, or is almost like an independent villain? Because I almost feel like this character could almost be like his own character, like he's a solo villain that may converse with Skeletor, but ultimately is kind of out for himself. Like, I just feel like this character has had such an imposing factor. His impression almost felt like he could really be a solo villain.
He might even summon him in, just like he has throughout all the comics and everything. Maybe there'll be that episode where he summons some kind of warrior for a particular task. You're right. It'll be interesting to see how they do Scareglow. Now, David, when you seen that, were you kind of shocked? Like, because just like we said, they usually do the traditional same characters over and over. Was that kind of a shocker to see? Wow, Scareglow from the start's going to be in this cartoon?
No, I love it, and it's funny that the one thing I keep seeing in the many responses from people about this casting is, where's Ram Man? Where's Fisto? Where's Buzz-Off? Where's everybody else? I mean, there are going to be a lot of characters in the show already. I don't think they're going to be able to fit everybody we would possibly want into the first season. I'm sure that there's going to be season 2 or season 3, although. At the same time, I was thinking about that today. Like, well, if they have a cast that's so strong, are they going to be able to hold on to them for a second and third season? Or are they going to have to mix things up and, bring in some other actors, some well-known actors, and bring in those other characters, those core characters, and then do away with some of these celebrities that we have on the cast now?
Yeah, because you're right. I don't think I see them being in, like you said, every episode or every other episode. I mean, they're going to, well, obviously we see they're going to be in the cartoon. We just don't know how prominent. So you're right. Eventually throughout, I'm sure we'll get other characters, but I'm sure like ones that should be mainstays, I'm sure they'll always have Man-at-Arms and Merman, Evelyn T. Like, there's going to be some mainstays. Others just like, okay, for example, Justin Long, I only remember him, and I know he's probably been in a lot, but I only remember him from Jeepers Creepers, and he's Roboto. It's like, I don't know if I don't know.
What about Galaxy Quest, man?
There you go, Galaxy Quest. Yeah.
Yeah, Joe's like, what's that? I think Justin Long is another part of the Kevin Smith kind of giving some of his friends some work. But I like Justin Long. I don't have any kind of problem with him. I think they'll obviously probably alter his voice a little bit. It'll be fine. I think I've said fine probably about 15 times this episode, but there's not any casting in here that makes me angry or anything. I'm just like, all right, yeah. This seems like a
I wasn't angry.
In a good direction.
Yeah, because there was just a lot I had no clue. Like one of the others up next, Griffin Newman as Oracle. I was like, I don't know this guy, but I'm sure he'll do a great Oracle. But is this somebody you guys know? Because
I don't know him either.
I never heard of him.
He was, if I'm not mistaken, I think he's in the just based off of this picture. He was in the live action Tick show that Amazon had, but I haven't watched.
As Arthur.
Oh, is it as Arthur? Okay, I recognize the picture now. I didn't put that together there. So okay, well. I don't think he'll sound like Urkel in the 2000 X cartoon, so I don't think it could be,
I was convinced it was. I thought it was Jaleel White when it first came out. I was like, they got Urkel doing Orko, and then somebody said, no, it's not him. I was like, I didn't know. I thought it was. But now this next one, obviously you guys are going to know. You watch more of the cartoons. I don't know Kevin Michael Richardson, but he's playing Beastman.
You will after this. You will after his portrayal as Beastman.
Now, what is this? It almost looks like a Joker type character. Who was this?
Yeah, it was Joker. That was.
Yep.
Not the best portrayal of the Joker, just in general. It's just. I blame the whole series as a whole. Like it has its moments, but he's got a great voice. Now, a perfect example is he played Shredder on the 2012 Turtles cartoon. God, he was awesome as Shredder in that. So, if you just listen to a sample of that, Joe, that I'd tell you like this is perfect Beastman.
He has a great.
Okay, well, everybody's and everybody's telling me, and I'm going to feel like a moron. They said he's in Family Guy. Family Guy. Is he the bartender? I don't know.
I don't know. I don't watch Family Guy, Joe.
Either. Sorry, guys.
Oh, well, Grimbot said I should know. He said he voices somebody in Family Guy. I was like, I don't. The only person I can think would be the bartender, but oh god, now I can't even remember his name. God, I don't know. Well, either way, I'm sure he'll do a great job. And here comes another person I don't know, and a strange choice to be bringing in is Andra from the Marvel comics, and you have Tiffany Smith. I don't know who Tiffany Smith is, and it's unique and interesting that we're going to have Andra, because again, another character that has never been in the cartoon, but I know how she trained and was with Teela in the comics, so I'm sure she's somebody I bet is going to see a lot of action, which would be kind of cool. But do you guys know Tiffany Smith?
I'm unfamiliar with her.
I made an assumption that when they said she's going to be Andra, I assume that that's referring to Lieutenant Andra, which is from the comics. So I'm hoping it's not some random new character that they just happen to call Andra.
Well, if anything, the one which will be finished on last, there is a unique and a new character. You have Cree Summer as Priestess, and I remember her from Different World. And I know everybody said, well, she's done a lot of cartoon voices, but
of course.
Oh, Joe.
Well, I mean, I do remember it being Freddy.
With Joe being a black man himself, he.
Well, I mean, I only remember
clearly related to the shenanigans and goings-ons of Different World there, right, Joe?
Well, I mean, I watched it all the time.
I did too, but I didn't watch it with your perspective.
Same here. I remember it as well, but for Joe to just be like, yeah, Different World, but Game of Thrones, what? This is kind of funny.
She was in Game of Thrones too. No, Jesus, was she? She was...
Joe, I'm just
just the fact that you're like, what's a Game of Thrones? Is that a board game?
It is a board game.
I'm saying that's what Joe's reaction would be, not thinking it's like an actual game, but like a Milton Bradley game or something like that.
What is
like
this?
Risk or something.
Yeah. Well, I really hope that I'm really, really hoping that when they say priestess, I really hope they mean goddess. Like maybe they either they're changing the character's name, or they just accidentally used a different name, or because of licensing
green or something.
Well, because of licensing, perhaps, like maybe the name Goddess is not available right now, so they had to change the name. Kind of like what they do with toys sometimes. With the Classics toys, they change the names of some of the characters because of licensing issues. I'm hoping that we get Goddess.
Yeah, Battle Fist. Yeah, exactly. What a great name. What was Rattler the General or some crap in toy form too or something?
Yeah.
Right.
But you're right. That could be an interesting take.
Yeah.
If Priestess could be Goddess and she could be green, like she, has been shown before, that could be different. So I like that there are new characters. But that right there is the whole list of everything, and all I picture is like, again, the press that I always talked about. Like when you think of all the comic conventions that would be coming up and them promoting it, it just seems like this could definitely be a hit. That's why so much I'm crossing my fingers that this is a great series, could get Masters back on the map, because this is something that could bring Masters back, unlike that damn movie that just will not happen. At least this could really get it back in the public eye, which I'm hoping for, because that's a solid list, like you said, that can grow, and I'm sure more characters are going to be popping up. But that was a hell of a thing to be hit with. I mean, so many people, when they seen the list earlier in the week, they thought it was a joke. I mean, I did my typical, I posted a picture of what this list was, and everybody thought it was fake at first, because they're so used to me screwing with everybody with those damn fake photos. So the boy who cried wolf,
Joe
it came
is
to
like the boy who cried wolf. It's like, no, you're talking out of your ass again, Joe.
Yeah, nobody believes me, but I was going to say, for anybody in the chat room now, if you have any questions towards any of us here, or even your comments and your thoughts on what you are hoping and about the new cartoon, if you're thinking it's going to be a super success, what would you like to see? Pop it right now. But in the meantime, then I can pass it back to you. I'm sorry, David. David, and you can kind of give your roundabout thoughts of what you think about all the cast and the cartoon as a whole.
Well, I'm really hoping, given what Kevin Smith said in that interview I referenced, I'm really hopeful that there will be a second season, and I hope that we'll get an additional Game of Thrones actor. Perhaps the character who played Hodor could be Ram Man, for example. I'm sure there are hundreds of Masters of the Universe characters. I'm sure that they could find a good fit for one of them. I also want to mention that one thing he said in the interview was that he recognizes that Adora, but it's She-Ra, is going to have to play a role in this series at some point. And he pointed to the second season as being a possible entry point for her. And he said that we could get a He-Man She-Ra Christmas special out of this.
Yeah, I remember I even mentioned it last week, which would be a fun little nod to the past. Like I said, if it happens, and Adora and / She-Ra, if she pops up, at least we know it's going to she'll be a warrior. She'll be somebody that looks like a warrior and is there that, again, you'd hope come save you if you were in trouble. That's what I'm glad to see and hope to see, a real She-Ra, one that gets fans to scream and go nuts,
Joe.
And can be taken seriously.
Sure.
Not as
I know you're secretly hoping we'll get the She-Ra that you love from your favorite show that you can't stop talking about every week.
I stop. I don't talk about it no more, but I'll try to see if what's going on in the chat room for all of you guys now. And DJ Tags, hello, Scott. Want to say hi to his son, Scott. Hope he's enjoying the show, and I've been real good. I haven't been cussing at all.
Oh, yeah. You've already dropped like 4 F-bombs. Don't eat. They've been keeping track.
Oh, I didn't think I was, but sorry about that. Bud Clevenger said I was embarrassing him by my lack of knowledge of all the people that are in these damn series, but I knew it was going to happen. So, but Sportimus is with like us saying they hope that this will be an amazing smash hit that will launch Masters of the Universe on fire with popularity. Fenmont said they had a problem in Gundam Wing and a few other series in the past. I might have missed what that's in reference to, and I apologize. I'm trying to see let me see. DJ Tech said Justin Long is the only one that he thinks sucks out of the whole list.
Not even Muse? You wouldn't even put.
Yeah, like how do you say Muse is better Cassius Stinkor than just as long as Roboto? Like we got to call foul on that one there, buddy.
Maybe they'll.
Yeah.
I was just wanted to mention maybe they'll have Muse. Maybe they'll alter his voice to make it sound like he's talking from behind a mask.
They could. That would probably be the best way to go about it, honestly.
Well, I mean, we got to forget to a lot of point. Hell, even Alan Oppenheimer's Skeletor had some alterations to. I mean, because when you hear him do Skeletor, it doesn't sound exactly like the one we got in Filmation. So I'm sure there's going to be a lot of characters that have altered voices to it. Like Roboto is going to be altered. It's not going to sound like Justin Long. It's going to have a very mechanical feel to it, I'm sure. But
and He-Man will have, they kind of alter his voice in the Filmation series.
Yeah,
and Kevin Smith has said that basically he's indicated that the design of the show will be very, not far off from the Filmation cartoon series.
Oh, I'd be curious to hear then. Yeah, I didn't know if they would try that kind of like echoing, kind of booming, voice that he would have, but I guess we will find out. Grimbot said he was hoping that there would be more actual voice actors coming into the cartoon. So I'm sure there will. There's plenty more that's going to be coming eventually. He says the problem with She-Ra is that she's under a separate license, so I wonder if that would create an issue with her popping up in the cartoon or if they'll work something out by then, but I don't know.
It's kind of weird how all that happens with everything. It's like, oh, all right, well, here's stuff that's sort of been under the same umbrella. Now it just gets separated because they're just like, oh, well, we'll sell to this, and then when it comes to it, like with Marvel and how they had to deal with certain things, it's just like, well, this character's over here. We can't have him in this movie because Sony still has him or whoever still has him. It's kind of stupid, but companies got to do what they got to do when they're not making money.
No, that's true. And Papa Huds had something for Tyler. Said, Tyler, I take it you didn't like Mike Young Productions' Triclops? Were you really a fan of it?
No, I mean, the character, I like the design and everything. I like the 2000X design of Triclops. I just, his voice was, it wasn't awful. It wasn't Clawful bad. It wasn't Evil M bad, but it just wasn't as menacing as I would have hoped. And I'm like, just seeing him as the kind of scientist / weapon expert for or robotics, or just the scientist for Skeletor, like that doesn't work for me. If anything, Trapjaw, the guy who works on making weapons for himself, he should be the weapon / kind of scientist character. Not saying he's working with test tubes and making concoctions and potions and shit, but he should be the weapons expert, the guy who's creating all kinds of robotics, like the Robot Knights and working on the Roton. Like, if he could do that kind of stuff for himself, I see him as a weapons expert in general, creating vehicles and different kinds of guns and arsenals for the Evil Warriors. I just can't see Triclops doing anything like that, period. Like, it's even going back and saying, like, it just at the time I was all right with it. It wasn't great, but I was just kind of like, but we got to see him sword fight some, and he was portrayed competent, So
I guess that's what
awful.
I'm hoping, Tyler. Yeah, and that's the thing, Tyler. I'm hoping at least with this one, because unlike the Filmation cartoon where you didn't see any sword fighting with him, I would love that if anything, yes, I know like they said they're going to be kind of going elements of Filmation, of continuity or whatever, of trying to pick up where it left off, but there's going to be differences, and hopefully there'll be more battle and action. That's why I'd love to see a more bounty hunter Triclops like we had in the mini comics. I know we're not going to... Yeah, we're not going to get it, but I would love it. I cross my fingers.
Well, I don't know. If they're pulling out characters like Andra and Elena and putting Hero in there, okay, all right. They clearly have done their homework. At least someone has. Like,
yeah.
If you're going to take this kind of characters, then they had to have researched, the basics on a lot of the essential characters, like a Triclops, and sees that his beginnings, that he was a bounty hunter. And that he's a very skilled swordsman and tracker.
Oh, that'd be
Why would you make him the Boba Fett of He-Man? Make him be the character that may not say a whole lot, but when he does, it means something.
His mini comic portrayal was the best. I would love to see that in animated form.
Yeah, so
absolutely,
it's very possible.
I don't know why, but like Tyler's video on here, it keeps like shrinking and then like going back to normal size. It's like it's like spasming out on me. It's all doing that on its own. So it's
like Skype can't handle the magnitude of my ego on this podcast.
I don't know what's going on.
Imploding and exploding.
Tyler, he just tried to resize you to a smaller size, but then you got even smaller when he did that.
It's doing all kinds of weird stuff. So apologize. I'm just gonna let it do. I'm gonna let it do its thing. I don't care.
I don't think people are gonna be sending Nathan a bunch of hate mail because they couldn't see me properly on here. So
And they were wondering, Sportimus said, any update on when the series is expected to premiere? That's the one thing, David, that hasn't been mentioned anywhere, correct? There has not been any kind of hint.
Right. No, I don't think I've... Well, I mean, in that same interview, Kevin was talking about how something... He did mention something about that. Basically, it's going to be a while. He basically was told that, every 20 seconds of the show is like 20 days to produce, so...
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I guess it's it'll be a while then. So
I like to say by Comic-Con this summer, like a teaser trailer or something to promote. I can't imagine anything else showing up except maybe like production stills. Like a picture of what Skeletor might look like on the show.
I bet. Yeah, we'll probably get a picture before. Yeah. It'll be interesting. Hopefully, it's something great. I pray. I hope. And Bud is just happy in the chat room that this is finally going to happen. Because it is. It's good that we're finally getting something Masters Universe wise that hopefully is going to be good. Unlike some things that have been hit and misses, because there's been things people love, some hate. But this is one thing that seems more positive throughout the community than negative that I've seen in a long time. So
just wait until they drop a trailer. Then I think that's when we'll get like the divide in the fan base. Like, this sucks. No, it looks great.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it ain't gonna. No, you're right. Nothing's ever gonna please everybody. It's true. Kyle Kendall said, "Any chances of any of these voice actors showing up in the live action movie?" There's not going to be a movie, Kyle Kendall. It ain't going to happen. No, but hey, it would be...
Unless this show somehow leads to, like, full-length feature, like, animated features that they put on Netflix or something like that, instead of doing, maybe shorten a season and just have, like, a movie at the end of it, or a movie to start it off, like we would get before, like, that they could condense down into part. I don't know. It could go either way.
I think I remember something from that Kevin Smith interview where he said that he wouldn't have the characters cussing, he said. And so it's really interesting. I think he really is he's trying to keep it as close to the original content as possible, the original feel of the show. So I don't think we're going to see any, like, excessive, like, blood.
We don't need to see that anyway. Like, as much as I want a mature human, I don't need to see cussing. I don't need to see, people saying "son of a bitch" or "fuck" or if they want to throw in a "damn" here and there. Turtles got away with it. I'm fine with something like that. Sparingly.
It's not written for Joe. It's just
No, for in a podcast, I guess you're gonna hear. But you're right. Like within the comics, they've been doing as of late.
But Joe, there are black people doing voices, so you can relate to these characters, right? I mean, even though Hero may be a white character, he's voiced by a black man, and therefore Joe's like, this is like watching a different world, man.
And I'm sitting there bringing up everything. I was like, "What? Man, this is what you bring up as reference?" But that's all I know. I don't know. Well, whatever. But as for the comic books, they dropped a lot.
He's only brought up Fresh Prince and Different World. There's a connection here. I don't think that's just like two random shows. There clearly is a connection there.
No, I mean, leave me alone. The comics.
How about with all these women? How about you bring up Living Single? Maybe Queen Latifah will come in here and voice, like a Madame Raz or something like that,
It's like I said, it's first things that popped in my head. And like that one guy that you said from Office Space. I mean, the first thing was like, I remember him being that one girl's boyfriend in the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. It's like, I don't know why. I never knew his name, but that's all I remembered. I just seen his face. Like, that's from the... Oh, boy. Let me see. Sportimus says, do you think there'll be some humor in the series? I'm sure there'll be a little bit, and I hope it's not a lot, because I don't want it to be over the top. Yeah, don't be over the top silly. You can pop it and sprinkle it here and there, but just give us somewhat of a serious tone and something that is enjoyable. And like you said, without the cussing, there could be some good battles. I mean, I know you said we're not going to be seeing blood, hopefully no death and decapitations. We don't need over the top. Just good ass storytelling is what we need to keep our attention and hopefully everybody's attention.
Well, let's let Cringer be Cringer. He has the best lines, by the way. In the original cartoon, I feel like Cringer had the best lines. Orko, there's plenty of room for the comedy.
Yeah, he'll probably get some. I don't remember a question from Adam. He said, "Don't forget it," because I'm gonna let you know, Nathan. You might have to take over because I seen Anthony Albanese popped up. There's been so many things, but my chat has jumped.
I'm trying to control Tyler's camera because now it's just like over top of my face. And I'm like, man, his
just-
ego has officially permeated through Skype.
It's awesome because I don't have to do anything. It just does it on its own. Yeah.
Yeah, no.
It's because everything's just popped in a weird order for me. I missed so much. I was hoping you could catch.
Adam Gabbard, it's for David. We usually get this when we have guests. What is your favorite Classics figure?
That's easy. It's the figure, one of the figures offered in 2013, named Mix and Match.
Oh, that shitty April Fool's character. Yeah, that was interesting. God. I was like, don't give them any ideas. They'll be like, hey, exclusive. Take parts of Man-E-Faces and Clawful. It was like, oh, God. There were some people that fell for that gag, too.
Well, and it's funny because I tossed it out there, I don't know, like a week or two ago, thinking, oh, yeah, this is, I did this back in 2013. I'll do it again. And I thought, well, people get it. They're commenting that, oh yeah, it's just an April Fool's joke. Okay, great, it's harmless. What I didn't expect was that people were thinking, are now thinking, yeah, it's an April Fool's joke, but it's an official Mattel April Fool's joke. And I'm like, oh crap, like I just destroyed the,
It's the way to do it. You gotta do it like that. I screw with people all the time so much, like I said, they can't even believe when I post real shit because I do so much phony stuff. And just to let you guys off the hook, for those who've seen that tote bag on my wall that have been like, hey, it's pretty cool. Oh, those are weird colors. I made a fake tote bag that I put on my wall, and I even put it up there, Joe Amato mock-up, but everybody's missing that. So many people say, I'm going to make a custom off that. I'm going to do this. I'm like, oh, God, now I did something that kind of backfired on me.
Well, your cult followers are going to believe that their cult leader is going to tell them nothing but the truth, Joe. So if you're telling them that you shit gold, I'm sure they'd be ready to just bask in your ass, so.
That's right.
Don't believe anything Joe ever says or posts. Ever. Yeah. It's all horseshit.
Yes. I want to say, and when it comes to favorite figures, Joe, you make some amazing custom figures. I'm huge into custom figures. And I wanted to say that my friend Chris Diaz, Hunter Knight Customs, he also makes some amazing figures. Here's a mini comics Trapjaw he made and a mini comics Stratos, just to give an example.
Well, now you're just taking food off of Joe's table. You can't be doing that.
I think we feel a hate crime coming on here, live on this podcast.
Hate crime? No, that's fine. No, that's awesome, man. Yeah, customs are always fun to see.
Yeah.
You always got to love and appreciate any customs you see. When people do it, it's pretty damn cool. Sportimus had one, and I think Sportimus, maybe it'll be, I'm not going to say it's obvious, but he says, what do you think Castle Grayskull look like? More like 2000X, Filmation. I'm hoping it's, kind of like what we've been seeing with the promotion for Revelation, something similar to that. It looks imposing. It's like, you figure they drew it up. I hope they drew it up for a reason, and it won't look completely different. But God forbid, do not look like the MYP cartoon. That thing was an abomination of a Castle Grayskull. That was horrid. It was wretched. So that was quick thing.
I loved it. I loved MYP. Yeah.
Huh?
And I mean, not so much when I first watched it, but when I had to go and rewatch all the DVDs, I just fell in love with it all over again. Yeah.
No, I mean the castle itself, Castle Grayskull.
It was all good. I loved it. Every bit of it.
All right, now we got to edit and we got to get David off the show. Clip all this shit out so nobody hears it in the audio version. When we put this back up on YouTube, Nathan's going to take that part. No,
that's way too much work. I'm too lazy, Joe. I can't do that.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Like I said, I lost track of everything. I think that's pretty much maybe everything.
Well,
wait, Bud did have one thing.
Well, I was gonna say, go ahead and do the one thing because we're nearing like the.
Yeah.
We're getting
one more thing. It's at least what Bud Clevenger said. What was your guys' thoughts on Castlevania? No, I thought it was great. It was a great series on Netflix, and I know they keep saying it's possibly the new He-Man cartoon will be from the people who did Castlevania. Is that what they keep saying?
Yeah, same company.
Okay. Well, then it'd be great. I mean, hopefully it can bring something positive and look fantastic. Look like a cartoon that would be enjoyable. And, yeah, I'm not going to go into that other tangent. But, yeah. So, David, it was a blast having you on. And hope we can do this again soon in the future. I want to thank everybody that was in the chat room and joined us live. Hope you enjoyed it, too. If you're new to this podcast, make sure you like, subscribe, share, ring the bell so you can always be notified when we go live. And until next time, have a powerful day.
Good journey.
All right, Tyler.
Earthlings. I hate Earthlings.
Oh, that one's easy. That's It Takes Two with Steve Guttenberg and the Olsen twins.
That joke's just got you spent that dime so many times, Nathan. You got to come up with another Steve Guttenberg film.
All right.
At least give me Cocoon or something like that, or Police Academy 2.
All right, yeah, it's Police Academy 2 with Steve Guttenberg. I don't know.
Could you say that quote one more time, and then I want to see if somebody get it in the chat room before we get off.
All right, Earthlings. I hate Earthlings. Or here's another one. I'm here to rent the apartment. Same movie.
Coneheads?
No.
Harry,
I'm ashamed Nathan
Harry
doesn't
and
know
the
this,
Hendersons.
but no. David, you got a clue here, bud?
I have no idea on that one.
Nobody can get in the chat room. What the hell is this?
Suburban Commando, man. Chef Ramsay.
God.
Yeah, it would have been better if you just would have been like, "You're a dead man, Ramsey."
That one did cross my mind, but I'm like,
that would give it away.
Yeah.
You know what? It reminds me, the trivia questions that you guys come up with are just brutal. Whenever you guys have a contest, they're just, oh my God, you really put us to the challenge.
Well, no, we know Joe just comes up with stuff that unless you're Italian, a real Italian, you're not going to get the answers to those. All right, let me ask you this: who's got the hardest questions?
Oh,
Tyler.
I don't know. I was too busy digging through my compendium and trying to find the answers. I wasn't focused on who was asking.
Tyler
them.
I'm just curious, because when we would do that stuff, I know a lot of people couldn't get Joe's questions, and
yeah.
And Joe would just he'd be ready to off himself, tell my customers I'm sorry, and boom, right there, down the spot.
It's like, unless you own that newspaper clipping from Malaysia that had the art in it, you wouldn't know who did it. And Joe's like, everybody should know this. It's like,
I know that's Joseph. Everybody knows this. And if you don't, he just kind of shrugs. He does that.
I do.
But thankfully, I was up to the challenge and won Tyler's amazing mini comic.
That's awesome.
Here,
there's another plug. Everybody needs this comic book.
Let me just go ahead and
available on eBay.
Just do that.
Available on eBay.
Oh, you're selling that?
No.
I'm like, well, clearly he's not a big fan of it anymore. It's
watching right now.
Okay.
I've got it backwards. Oh wait, I've got it backwards.
Oh, so now you got the German side there.
Right.
Tyler just joined the whole side. Why did you make Tyler the entire video, Nathan? Is this an ego moment or something?
The ego took over. We'll see you guys next.
I think it's the only way he would.
See you next week.